Well, hello everyone. Welcome in. This is Andrew, the Archon Philosopher, talking philosophy to the philosopher in all of us. And today we're going to continue. Hey, I didn't change the title on this one. Maybe I should just change that so I don't get confused and nobody else does. And let me see. Oh, this is not a good way to start with dead air. Anyway, this is, there we go. This is part 3, and we're going to do a discussion of Psyops. I saw a great video on Psyops the other day, and it made me realize that metaphysics itself, which is the basis of physics, which is the basis of our reality, is in itself the ground of a Psyops. Because in a Psyops, you're subject to whatever the narrative, the story is that they tell you. If there's something not sitting right with you, if you feel uncertain about things. And this is precisely what metaphysics does. It's looking for the grounding of our being. And this never sits well with people because we don't know. It's so far back in history, and we were thrown into the world. We were born and thrown into a world already activated, fully activated. And so how can any of us get to the very beginning? And this, I'm going to argue, and argued in my book, is the same thing for non-human sentient creatures, what people call non-human intelligences, and what other people call aliens or gods or fallen angels, and what the Neoplatonists called archons, and I call them archons. And these creatures as well, wherever they are in this universe, they also have the same problem, and they have to overcome it. And so metaphysical solutions come along, trying to rid people and developing cults, and then sects, and then religions, and then philosophies, and then cosmologies. All of these things really seek to answer the metaphysical question. So what we can see with the Abrahamic religions is it set up an answer to this as a supernatural, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving God. And this presents great problems, not only that it's magical thinking, but it creates a fear of hell and thus control over humans. That seems to be a goal in all of this, is that eventually a government or even a religious hierarchy will take over and seek to control and gain resources that way. And the War of the Aliens is, of course, seeking to gain resources from humans in order to, I think, try to conduct some sort of military campaign against the aliens, against the archons, and this is foolish. And this is the warning that I'm putting out there. If anyone should happen to hear this, you can jump in and get this. Although I seem to have made people upset, and now I think shadow banned securely. However, we'll put this up, and you never know what'll break. You never know what will break. Anyway, we're looking at the War of the Aliens, Part 3, involving a number of different situations built upon metaphysical chaos. The metaphysical chaos that we don't understand our own grounding. None of us do. No sentient creature in this universe. However, given more time, we might be able to figure something out, and I think some people have, and I think some species have. In fact, if we get up into the leadership of what I consider to be a Type 3 civilization, which is running the whole show, manufactured Earth, the Dyson-like sphere around us with the lights in the night sky, pretty lights, all according to some pattern. I've been encouraged to do a video on the lights in the sky and how they follow a pattern that reflects what is ultimately organizing the world and our thoughts. So these things that organize our world and our thoughts are able to be accessed, and we're doing so a lot now with the tractors and the Feigenbaum constant and the Fibonacci sequence. All of these things we're finding these metaphysical entities organizing. So I'm going to do a video on that this week. Anyway, getting back to the War of the Aliens, we have a bit of a history going back. We have a history in the late 1800s, early 1900s of great strides made to understand our place in the universe. And we were doing so well with George Airy, the head of the Royal Society, and Michelson and Morley with their experiment showing the Earth is stationary. And in order to overcome at least the second one, people came up with theories. And then we had people trying to close the Overton window from all of these speculative or answers to these speculations about where we are and how we are. And they wanted to continue with the Copernican hypothesis, another theory that we cannot demonstrate. All we can demonstrate is the lights in the sky with the telescope, and that's observational science. And it's not modern science. Modern science we can trust because the findings of experiments are intersubjectively verifiable, repeatable, measurable, falsifiable, but not anything coming from observational science. So I suppose I want to do another video on Are You Afraid of Edmund Husserl, who said bracket out the theory. And if we bracket out the theory and we just accept our experience and our intersubjective experience more than our subjective experience, our intersubjective experience, that which is shared amongst more than one of us, hopefully all of us, that we can get to the bottom of things and find out where we are and thus who we are, and thus we will know what to do. That if you're afraid of doing that, and I think a lot of people are, what happened at the turn of the 1900s was that science was corporatized. It was brought in and controlled by government due to the war, World War I, and the fear generated just sucked it all in, and thus we had national security issues, and then the Overton window shrunk dramatically as to what was allowable discourse. And we're fighting now to expand the Overton window, and it's actually taking place without much happening because people are witnessing stuff in the skies that just can't be explained. And with the Tic Tac craft as emblematic of the high technology we're dealing with, that the idea of a Dyson-like sphere surrounding Earth becomes not only possible but now probable due to all the other issues that modern science and not observational science gives us. So the war of the aliens is actually a war of humans against humans to control the Overton window. And what we're seeing is an ultimate disaster in terms of having corporatized science come in and make up theories, dark matter, Big Bang, all of this stuff in order to control the narrative, distract us, deflect from what I think some people are working on. And what they're working on is going back in history, as you can see in a number of these images. We go back in history and we see the same things happening over and over again. That there's stuff in our skies, we cannot explain it. And yet whatever it is that explains our being in the world also explains their being in the world, because we share the same lived-in world. This is key. And this world is reality. Whatever is shared between us is reality. And however they think about it and experience it, we have to accord with that, as well as how we experience it and understand it, and vice versa. So what we're looking at is a shared lived-in world with archons or aliens or fallen angels or gods or whatever name you want to put to it. I think I did a video listing off all the names, and there's a lot of them throughout history, but they all share a similar type of feature, which is they've had high technology for 6,000 years, and we're just trying to catch up here. We have this great technology, the internet. We're here. We have a highly advanced screens to show pictures all around the world almost instantaneously. But they've had this for 6,000 years. Imagine where they are now. Imagine what they can do if they arrived, as it were, or we arrived into their civilization with them having such high technology. Somebody asked, I think it was Robin Hanson, a philosopher, asked, well, why are they staying away from us? Why are they so distant, not interacting? Obviously with such high technology, they could be doing great projects. Well, I think he's missing it. I think that Earth is the project, that this is what they are doing, and they are doing it for a reason. And the reason has to do at least with resources, because all life requires resources, and the Archons are living. They are living, they are sentient creatures, they have children, they require resources, and this is their project. Growing humans, as it were. I think of them as farmers, and they're growing us, and they're getting us to do something that they get resources from, almost like a beekeeper. So they're not harming us. They're giving us a beautiful place. Like, this is a beautiful place. I think they like it here. I think if they were land here, they don't want to leave. It's just so beautiful. Although, the way they may experience it may be very different. But the way we experience it is certainly wondrous and wonderful and marvelous. It's a marvel to be here. It's a marvel to be in being. And that's probably true wherever you are, in whatever reality you're in, as it were, whatever interpretation of reality that you make of it, whatever sentient species interprets reality to be. And each of these interpretations is valid and equal. They're all equally as wondrous or non-wondrous, powerful or non-powerful as each other. Although with this difference in power, we're now subjected to it, because ultimately they have high technology. We don't. They understand the universe to give them this high technology. We don't, at least not yet. And the war of the aliens is humans against humans, attempting to keep some of us in the dark due to information asymmetry. And this information asymmetry means certain groups collect information and then withhold it. And they don't tell us, and we ask, and they say sheeple, and then that's it. So ultimately, if you just skirt along the very top, and again, you can go into great detail on the history of philosophy. This channel is not that. This is not a history of philosophy. This is a philosophy. This is a description of everything, beginning with how the universe came to be. That's discussed in Direction 1. And now we're just discussing the implications of this in Direction 2. And this is a discussion of one of the major implications, that humans appear to be endangering themselves, in that we are causing the Archons, the aliens, whatever, to take notice of what we're doing, and to probably say you're doing too much, too far, too fast, and you're going to cross some red lines. And I think two of the big red lines are AI, like super intelligent AI, because not only will it figure out humans, it will also figure out the aliens. And not only will it be able to tell humans about the aliens, okay, but it will then be able to hack into the aliens' computer systems. It will be able to figure that out, hack into it, and cause them grief. So the minute we get super intelligent AI is the minute it's shut down. Yeah. So the other one is genetic warfare. So because we appear to be genetic cousins with the aliens, they created us in order to be sentient. So this is part of a genetic set they sprinkled on this node and grew it up over, maybe one or two iterations of 20,000 year chunks or something. And they grew it up, and they got some sentient creatures. Some didn't work out. Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal didn't work out. But we did in this iteration of this genetic set. And they came down and mentored us, and then probably came back and then mentored us big time with writing, with architecture, engineering, and agriculture, mathematics. This was recorded in ancient Mesopotamia, and the names of the mentors are here and what they did. And then there was a bit of a reset, and we had a cataclysm, what we can call a deluge, which was not always of water, depending upon where you were located, was how it was recorded. And so after the deluge, we had different mentors. And then we had a reset into a monotheism to try to reduce the metaphysical chaos. So this was the late Bronze Age collapse. And after that, we're into this iteration, which has proven to be quite stable. But if you go against this metaphysical psyop, psychological operation to touch all those buttons that people need to create significance, to say that you know everything now and you don't have to ask any more questions, that you have approval, that you're a good person, God loves you or humanity loves you, and that you belong here in the world created by this metaphysical system, whether it's the Big Bang algorithmic materialist universe or the Abrahamic love you universe or whatever other, and that you have power, some power over where you are, as long as you abide by the direction you've been given by your metaphysical system. And finally, we all have in these metaphysical systems some need that we're weak and we need to be protected and we need to be pitied. And this allows the leadership to control the membership. And that's what we see breaking down now. We see a lot of people discussing things. We see a lot of people still believing in this or that metaphysical explanation, which is grounded in magical thinking. And to escape this magical thinking and return to a world which is, okay, marvelous, magnificent, sometimes malevolent, but never magical. If we return to that world, if you have the courage not to be afraid of Edmund Husserl, then you can see the world and say, oh my, we are related. We have some detailing of this with demigods, Gilgamesh in Mesopotamia, and then the sacred marriage, the hierogamous of the kings, and they started creating offspring, and this is detailed in the Book of Enoch and also in the Old Testament about Nephilim and the hybrid. And we know that we can create hybrid if we're genetically related. And ultimately, if you want sentience to appear, which is the highest level of consciousness, then it appears in brains, and so you got to get the right brain. And so this is apparently a restriction that the aliens have in constructing genetic sets and sentient creatures, that the only way they know how to do it is to create a living form with a suitable connection, although that connection is ultimately unfinalizable to them and to us and to the universe for reasons I discuss in a video called Structural Unfinalizability. So anyway, this is War of the Worlds Part 3. Welcome in. If you happen to make it this far, congratulations. You've just heard the most radical view, I think, on the interwebs. I'm going to definitely cause problems to anyone who comes in here, to shock and people awake out of some sort of reverie of magical thinking and belief in theory and belief in people who make testimony while they're obliged by non-disclosure agreements, and so on and so on. We have to understand what we know, how we know it, and then we start to really unravel where we are. And again, if you're not one of those people who have seen something in the sky which is unexplainable, and you don't believe what people are telling you around you with the video and the radar, and you dismiss all the stories in the past, okay then, you're not for this channel. You're not for this age. Because this age appears to be, we are in the war of the aliens, and the aliens are going to make sure that one side wins. But the moment that side wins, it's going to be a loss. It's going to be a Pyrrhic victory. Because what seems to be the case is once there's an unveiling, there's an immediate reveiling. And that reveiling then stops any questioning of what you just saw. It's going to come down to being insane what everyone just saw. No one will talk about it and everyone will forget it because they have to forget it. Anyway, that may be the course of action that we see. So if you get this and there happens to be something, if there's nothing, then don't worry. You can put this video on the shelf. You can buy my book and put that on the shelf as a curiosity. But if it happens to come true, then at least you'll know that when the reveiling happens, that what you saw in that brief moment of time between the unveiling and the reveiling, what you saw was real. And we live in a very different world than any metaphysical Psyops wants us to think. So the metaphysical Psyops is on, and it's the biggest one. All the other Psyops are minor in comparison. The main thing in this universe is the most powerful thing in this universe, and humans are being shielded, maybe for their own good in some people's minds, but being shielded from the information that they have and won't release, but that we don't necessarily need from them, because enough people see it in the skies and can put two and two together and won't believe corporatized science and won't fall for magical thinking or incoherent theory. If you do all of that, then you've followed the dangerous path of Edmund Husserl to bracket out theory and to move into the findings of modern scientific experiments as the basis of what is epistemologically, what is knowledge-wise, the strongest that we can get. And so in doing that, I welcome people to look into this more and to become prepared and to perhaps understand maybe the train is already off the rails and going over the cliff, in which case the best you can do is sit back and enjoy the unveiling, and in the reveiling come out and whisper what's really happening. Or alternatively, something good may come of the unveiling, and we may get bumped up into the next level, but the next level may not wind up having humans as purely human. The transhumanist movement may win in some way, and the best we can say, if we're turned into Borgs to serve a greater Type 3 civilization, that at least we can maintain some of our humanity. Not a great thought, I suppose, to end with, but that may be the best choice. Because ultimately, if we get reset deep enough, we'll be back into the pre-electric age, and there won't be many of us left. So perhaps learn how to carve into rock. So that's it for today. Welcome in anyone who made it this far, and best of luck out there. And we'll be doing some videos this week. Had a busy week. There we are. We're going to stop streaming.